Well, hi everyone, and welcome to, I think, an introduction to the Leading Through Health and Wellbeing program. My name's Rob Copeland. I'm the director of the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre in Sheffield, and I had the pleasure, when we were able to give Professor Richard Field, who's here on the call with me, a tour around the AWRC, and we got chatting about some of the programs that we'd been running and the leadership stuff that Rich had done. And we got really quite excited about the possibility of how leadership and health and wellbeing might come together to produce something exciting for business leaders in our region. But before we get into that, Rich, do you just want to introduce yourself?
Well, thanks, Rob. Yes, that was an interesting occasion. I heard about AWRC, but yes, I'm a coach. I coach international boards. I coach individuals. I coach anyone. I also am chairman of company. Have been chairman and chief executive of companies all my working life, really. And I remember I saw AWRC in the paper. And I thought, oh wow, I must go down and see it. So I came down. We had that extraordinary chat, and you said, hey, come on, how about me coming on one of your programs? I said, sorry, we're so busy, we only run them internally. So I think you said that one of the key words I think a chief executive needs to say, or key phrases, which is there must be a way. And we found that way, didn't we?
We did.
And what I'd like to ask you is why is it that you think that business leaders should have health and well-being at the heart of everything that they do?
Yeah, and that's the question we've been wrestling with, isn't it? And I think for me, this is about coming back to the heart of effective leadership and placing people, the most valuable resource in a company, at the heart of everything that we do, and particularly as leaders, that what we prioritize. We did some research a few years ago with Public Health England, a rapid review, if you like, of the evidence around workplace health. And one of the things that emerged was the importance of relationships between leaders and their employees. And in addition to that, we found out that healthy employees are more productive, they enjoy their time at work. And this astonishing kind of bit of data came out that for people in office-based environments, which they spend 75% of their hours at work sat down.
Really?
No physical activity, and that leads to a whole host of, we become less creative. Our communication dwindles, and so really thinking about how we can create what we've termed as a well-being driven economy, how we put the health and well-being of our population at the heart of everything that we do in business, we think can have quite a dramatic effect on not only the kind of the productivity and the outputs, but what it feels like to be part of companies that lead through health and well-being. And the COVID pandemic and all the challenges that we've had to face is really, for us, underline the importance of that message of putting people and putting health and well-being at the heart of what we do. And so that's where we're coming from with this Leading Through Health and Wellbeing. It's about putting well-being and people and what matters most at the heart of everything that we do in business. So that's why it matters to me.
Yeah, but all right, to build on that, there's one thing that I would add, which I think is a wonderful strapline that you certainly say at AWRC, which is that health and well-being is the new performance accelerator. So me being a business person will say, hey, come on, so what? Why should we be healthy? But the point is that it makes the difference to the bottom line. It also, and that's through happiness, it's through better absenteeism, etc. It affects every part of our lives. So I think you bang on there, Rob. Yeah. Bang on.
Yeah, and I think that idea around acceleration, that idea around kind of performance can be taken in a kind of on the one hand, a really sort of dry, traditional KPI driven approach, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about really getting into and understanding processes that can help leaders to model and to grow through a set of principles that I guess that kind of prioritize health and well-being within their workplace. And I do think that's a leadership thing.
So you must be very impressed with me when you say 75% of the time spent work sitting down. That I've got a standing desk here. Well, actually, it's not. It's a pile of books, tell you the truth, on my desk. But actually, I spend my time when I'm virtual, etc. now standing, and I have to say it's made a real difference to feeling. So that's really good.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I'm fortunate to have a standing desk, and it's certainly been one of the things that's made a big difference to me during this lockdown. So tell me about this program then, Rich, from your kind of perspective. Why is it essential that business leaders get involved in this project?
Yeah, okay, so just before that, let me ask you a couple of questions, Rob. The first one is, when you have too much work on, you think you've got a lot of work on your plate and you've got lots of problems, etc. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Well, you just feel like you're kind of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, don't you? And that personally, I obviously can't speak for others. The natural tendency is just to try and throw more hours at it. And and you just feel a bit overwhelmed, really. Okay.
So you feel overwhelmed, you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you throw more hours at the day. Okay, so how would you rather feel?
I think for me, it's that idea about I'd like to feel like I've got space to be able to think and lead, and I'd like to feel kind of a bit freer and released from some of that weight. Different ways of maybe seeing the world, different ways of maybe coping with that scenario.
So that's all.
Yeah. Oh well, to being brutally honest, I'd like to also feel like I got a bit of time to ride my bike as well. That'd be nice to prioritize some other things, because it can feel like work's all consuming at times.
Okay, so if I was able to share some processes that actually would enhance you towards having more space, more thinking time, more time to lead, more freedom, taking some of that weight off your shoulders, making the difference, and even giving you time to ride your bike, would you be interested?
I'm in. Yes, I would. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're a chief executive, so there we are. All right. So let me just tell you. Let me give you a bit of background first.
Okay.
I was leading a program at Balliol College, Oxford, where I'm told some tens of thousands of executives have been through this program with an organisation called the Industrial Society. And I was approached by a government-sponsored training organisation to say, Rich, we cannot find, at that time, remember, not now, at that time, we cannot find a world-class leadership program to recommend to SMEs within our area. Will you design one? So I got hold of some people I really rated, and we took some 18 months, 2 years to design this leadership and collaboration program. And what amazed certainly me at the end of the program was not only had the essence of how to lead your SMEs, but also the essence of how to actually be more happy and get more out of your lives. So that's if you like, the program consists of actually very simple processes which can be used by, and we share these with international boards of directors. We share them with school children to help them achieve their GCSEs, etc. So they're simple processes. However, you can go as deep as you want to, dependent on how much experience, etc. So we've dealt with international organizations. We've dealt with national government, local government, hospices. So we've SMEs, etc., you name it, universities, etc. We've shared this. Now, the thing is, we think that the program is now going to be enhanced by joining with AWRC, because what you're bringing in also is that activity you talked about, but also that expertise in health. And together, we think we have an astonishing program. Now, what do we get? How do we do it? Well, actually, to tell you the truth, we find the fastest way of learning is through having fun.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid the program is having fun.
Yeah.
It's stories, it's laughter, but it's also learning. So at the end of the program and during the program, you have practical skills that you can use immediately out there in the real world.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that attracted me when we had the conversation, Rich. So, is that combination of this is a leadership program. Fundamentally, we're not teaching people how to do health and well-being.
No.
This is a leadership program.
Yes.
And but as part of that, we're bringing the work that we've done with Sheffield Hallam University and the wellness team there. So people will get an opportunity to have a lifestyle consultation. They can have some data to explore how different elements of their health, what that looks like, and therefore support to be able to improve areas that matter most to them. So that we'll build that into the program. So there is some health and wellbeing stuff, but fundamentally this is a leadership program, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. And just two final points. One is, while having been on the program and whilst on the program, one will learn how to coach these processes to other people. So you can do that within your own organization, within your families, and within the community. And I know that our vision is, hey, why don't we have, just as you started the whole of this conversation, why don't we have this as a culture for our whole community, where we learn fast, we have a common language, which is a simple language, which we use, which is very exciting. The other one is, of course, so if you had all those things, Rob, would you feel you had more space? Would you think you had more time to think? More time to lead, less weight on your shoulders, more time to ride your bike?
I think we'd see. I'd hope so. I think the key thing for this is it's going to be an experience for me as well to go through this program.
Oh, good. You're coming on the program.
I am, yeah.
That's the man.
And just a word of warning: if you do come on, Rich will ask you these types of questions. This is not staged. He is genuinely just asking these questions off the cuff. I think for me, it's about really, a process is as good as how well it's used and implemented. And so I think that's always the challenge with leaders, and therefore you need a little bit of bravery. You need to make space for these things in order to do things differently. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to do that with other leaders from across the region, to understand their experiences and how we do stuff. And so yes, I hope it will. I believe in the evidence and the track record that I think both our organizations bring to this. And let's see where we get to.
And anyone who wants to join the program, by the way, just contact me, which is
we'll put the details on the end of this, Rich. So I won't put you on the spot for that now.
Excuse me, trying to remember it. Thanks very much indeed. And if there are any questions at all, just come to me. I'll answer them right away.
Yeah,
so that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it starts June, doesn't it? I'll put the date.
Oh yes, good one.
So,
yeah, hopefully it'll be when we can actually meet face to face, which would be brilliant. And we're going to be running it down at AWRC.
We are. Yes, yeah, we are. That's we had hoped to start earlier in the year, but because of the pandemic, the interaction and the narratives and the connections with people is really important to this. About the way it feels just as much as the content. So we want to make sure that people have a great experience, don't we? So
you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Great. Well, look, thanks, Rich. Thanks for putting me on the spot as usual. Thanks for having a quick chat about the Leading Through Health and Wellbeing program. And I'm genuinely thrilled that we've got to this stage, and I'm looking forward to meeting the folk on the program as well.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All right. Look
So,
after yourself. Cheers, Rich.
cheers.